So again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Joint Budget Subcommittee, Human Service Labor Budget. I am Senator Roxanne Persad, and I am Chair of the Senate Social Services Committee. I am honored here to be the co-chair of this subcommittee with my colleague, Assemblymember Hevesy. I think we've done this a couple of times already. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the following members of our subcommittee on the Senate side: Senator Jabari Brisport, Senator Jessica Ramos, Senator Semke Felder, who's chatting in the back here, Senator Jessica Scarcella Spanton, Senator Alexis Wyke, and Senator Jack Martin. I'd now like to turn it over to the Assembly Chair, Co-Chair, to introduce his team.
Thank you, Senator Prasad. Good evening, everybody. Let me do it again. Good evening, everybody. There we go. So it's an honor to be co-chair of this particular subcommittee. We deal with some of the most difficult issues in the state, and particularly when we focus on kids, we're really focused on the future. I would like to introduce some of my colleagues, some of them chairs. Assemblymember Latoya Joyner, Assemblywoman Maritza Davila, Assemblywoman Stephanie Zitterman, Assemblyman Tony Simone, Assemblyman Stephen Raga, Assemblyman Andy Goodell, and Assemblyman Brian Miller. Welcome.
Thank you. The Senate's one house, before I say that, we have appointed in the Senate, we have appointed Dennis Weekly to be our secretary.
And while we have some concerns about Mr. Weekly, we're going to let that go. And the Assembly appoints Hannah Dominguez.
Thank you. We have absolutely no concerns about Mr. Weekly. So the Senate's one house included a number of items that New Yorkers have been asking for many, many years. Vulnerable New Yorkers have been losing their SNAP benefits, for example, to unscrupulous skimming operations, and we've been working on that. The Senate advanced language to facilitate replenishment of stolen benefits to all New Yorkers, and we've had that issue with primarily amongst our elderly population. I'm happy that the Senate has also increased the human service COLA for workers to 8.5%, and I'll continue to advocate for all human service workers to receive a COLA regardless of the contract they fall under. Many people may not realize that even though we say it is an 8.5% increase for human service workers, COLA, it does not everyone within that field receives it, and we are going to continue fighting so that everyone receives that COLA. We've advanced language to better address benefit cliffs, including other key parts of the platform to help struggling individuals and families. As you know, you will hear, there's much to be decided on. We're not coming here to you today to tell you everything that we've decided on. It's a conversation that's ongoing, and I know my colleagues and I will do our utmost best to ensure that we do what is right for all New Yorkers in the social service, human services field. I will now turn it over to Senator Ramos for brief remarks.
Thank you, Chair Prasad. I'm New York State Senator Jessica Ramos. I chair the Labor Committee in the State Senate. And I have to say that I am grateful. This is on. I'm loud enough. I don't know. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to work on these issues with the Assembly. I think many of us feel very passionately about bringing a war on poverty from many different angles, certainly from the labor angle and, of course, from the children and families angle. I am looking forward to raising the wage this year, doing it properly, doing it well, and hoping to bring 3 million workers out of poverty by raising their wage and, of course, continuing to build a social safety net so that no community falls through the cracks during a crisis, and ensuring that every child has a safe place to be when parents need to go to work. I think those are just a few of my biggest concerns with this budget this year, and I'm looking forward to the work.
Thank you, Assembly.
Assemblymember Joyner.
Yes, thank you, Chair Hevesy, and I'm glad to follow behind my colleague in the Senate on labor issues. This year, we have seen dramatic spikes in inflation, which have left many workers struggling to make ends meet. I'm happy with this one House proposal that the Assembly supports a scheduled increase in the minimum wage, followed by increases based on indexing. We must do everything that we can to ensure that the state has one uniform minimum wage rate and eliminating any tiered system. The People's House is committed to restoring the purchasing power of people, and we are looking forward to delivering during these budget negotiations that are coming up this month. And as part of this discussion, we must also make sure that we include and preserve increases for tip workers and home care workers. So I'm glad to be part of this budget subcommittee hearing today, and I'm looking forward to delivering to many New Yorkers this budget season. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Brisport?
Thank you so much. Oops, I'm not on either. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Senator Brisport from Brooklyn. I chair the Committee on Children and Families. We're all well aware the child care crisis is ongoing with wait lists in the years and many child care deserts across our state. There are many steps taken forward I would like both houses to work on as we go through this budget process. The Senate's proposal to increase eligibility for parents, the Senate's proposal to do a dedicated fund of $500 million to increase wages for workers by $12,000 apiece. And on child welfare, I would really like to applaud the Assembly for including a proposal to increase rent subsidies as a preventative measure, and would hope that we both work together on that to make sure it's in the final enacted budget. Would also like to highlight that we both houses have called for increasing the reimbursement rate for child welfare to 65%, and which it's statutorily required at instead of the current 62%, and hope that we can keep on working to make sure that's in the final enacted budget. That's it. Thank you.
Great. Senator Goodell.
I think they've successfully shut off all my microphones. Anyway, thank you very much, chairs, for the opportunity to speak. The Republican minority in the Assembly actually supports many of the provisions in the one House budget bills that we think are very positive, including the 8.5% COLA. We think it's long overdue and certainly well-deserved. We certainly back the addition of $1.93 million in veteran benefit programs. Again, these are people that are well-deserving of our support. As my Senate colleague mentioned, we support the increase in the reimbursement rate to 65% on the state child welfare reimbursement rate. That's important. One area that we saw in the Senate one House that we like and hope that will be added to the final budget is $2.4 million for the 211 program. That's a great program because it enables people to access existing services very easily, especially in a time of need when they might be under a lot of stress. And so it's proven to be a very effective program operated in my area by the United Way. A couple of issues that we are concerned about. While we certainly support the child care subsidies and think that's very valuable and important, we want to be careful when we structure the program that we don't create a fiscal cliff where those benefits terminate at an artificial threshold. We'd prefer to see that child care subsidy phase down as income increases so that if an individual who's receiving those benefits can afford to earn more than the median income, for example, or 85% of the median income, without losing more in childcare than they gain in income. We note that the governor's budget, which was accepted in both houses to include $1 billion for funding for migrant services and assistance, we're disappointed that that is limited to New York City. My district has asylum seekers from outside our country, and because it takes the federal government up to a year to hold an asylum hearing, well, we have individuals in our county that need assistance, cannot lawfully work, and it's expensive. And so it's not just a New York City problem. And our funding shouldn't be limited to just New York City on that program. Last is a general matter. Everyone's painfully aware of the fiscal cliff, and we've mentioned it before. where an individual reaches a certain income threshold and their loss in benefits exceeds their incremental increase in income. And we literally trap millions of New Yorkers with that program. It's time we address it. And it's not impossible. And so I would hope that in the final budget, we have modest funding to put together a comprehensive review of our programs so that we can coordinate the phase down of those benefits in a way that avoids fiscal cliff. And one idea might be to have the earned income tax credit, instead of it being linear, allow it to jump when you hit those fiscal cliffs. And then modify the earned income tax credit so it's calculated quarterly and paid monthly so that people can afford to take advantage of it. This state is smart enough to figure out how to structure its programs without trapping people in poverty. And we should take the first steps this year by including the funding and the requirement to analyze it and move forward in future years. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share those views.
Thank you. Senator Scarcella-Spanton.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm Senator Jessica Scarcella-Spanton. I am the chair of Veterans, Homeland Security, and Military Affairs. I am excited and I'm thankful to my colleagues for the additional investments that we made in veterans across the state, including mobile service vans, to make sure that we're meeting veterans where they're at, whether it be at their VFW halls, at the VA. I think that's a really important investment. Now we have enough in here to hopefully service veterans across the state in each region. I know there's still a lot of work to be done, but I also wanted to commend my colleagues here as well on the investments in childcare, and I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So everybody, I'm going to take my time now, if that's okay. So just a couple of general observations, and I'm going to keep it very brief. So this is the year, I believe, that we're going to have to pay all of our workforces. That 8.5% COLA is crucially important to all of them. I will particularly focus on the foster care industry, who has had to sue New York State multiple times, including now, to get their the right pay. Even last year, in last year's budget, we had to throw an additional, I think it was close to $50 million to make up for what the former administration was just not doing, not paying their workforces. So that's crucially important. That is also across the board for our child care sector. And I want to thank the Senate in particular this year for leading on child care. This year, we hope to match that and come back with you, but thank you both for what you put in your one house. And then two other pieces I just want to flag as could be historic. So the 6535 that Senator Brisport mentioned for preventative services was a program started in the 1970s. It has a rather interesting history, but we, because of the last governor, and I'm not going to name him, but the last governor intentionally underfunded kids for the last 10 years, a decade. So we've been violating our own law, and that means that when kids are in crisis and they're potentially going into the child welfare system or have other traumas, that they are not able to avail themselves of all of the preventative services that our counties can provide. That is a huge win for us if we're able to maintain it. I will tell you that we had it last year in both of our one houses. This is the year, I believe, that we focus on pushing Governor Hochul to agree with us on that front. And then the last one, this is another big one. The Child Welfare Housing Subsidy, which was created in 1988. If you're a kid who has a child welfare case or is a lack of stable housing is the only reason that you and your family have a case in child welfare, you can avail yourself of this subsidy. Also, if you're a kid in foster care and you need to find stable housing to get out of foster care, this particular housing subsidy is crucial to you and your family. However, it's not been raised since 1988. So right now, if you're a child, you can make $300 off of that, which means you can't really get stable housing anywhere. So we will be looking to increase that to $725 plus, increasing the eligibility age from 21 to 24, because we know that foster care youth, when they age out of foster care, about 1/3 of them wind up homeless. So these are two legacy programs for child welfare that were really smart when they started. We've just been messing them up over the last couple of years because we had a less than smart executive. I'm going to leave it at that. This is the year for the, yeah, I should be, was that subtle? I should tell you what I really think. Sorry, I count less smart as you stop investing in kids and you start pulling money away from children, particularly the children who are having the most trouble in New York State, then you're not smart. So we're going to rectify those two this year. This is the year we get those two right. And with that, Senate.
Okay.
I have another
Senate-
assembly member. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Senator Wyke?
Thank you very much. I'm Senator Alexis White, and I'm the ranking member on the Civil Service and Pensions, and I'm pleased that we're here today with the Assembly to examine this year's budget. I'm confident that the subcommittee will work together and come to a timely consensus as to how we will enact the time and balance this budget. There are a lot of issues that are very important to a lot of us. I'm glad to see that the Senate stepped up to restore the $5 million for the Veterans Nonprofit Capital Program that was left cut, and I hope the Assembly will do the same and match that. I'm hopeful that the enacted budget contains meaningful child care investments. That's what we've been talking about, and I think everybody has covered that issue as well. Daycare costs across the state are skyrocketing as safe, affordable slots are in short supply. And I'm glad the Senate One House proposal includes $35 million to support the increase in state reimbursement for child welfare services, because these services are so crucial to all of our families.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblymember Zimmerman.
Mr. Goodell, you break the mics. Good evening. I am Assemblymember Stephanie Zimmerman from the 56th Assembly District in Brooklyn. And I would just really like to thank my colleagues for really focusing on the most vulnerable of New Yorkers in this budget, as we've attempted to do in the last two sessions that I've been elected. I would like to start with TANF recipients. As someone who was a manager of a citywide TANF program, I know just how important it is for us to support that program and particularly provide funding. These are the individuals who end up getting the job training necessary that ends up reducing our unemployment benefits, and they contribute to society. And so I am happy to see that the Assembly and hopefully the Senate will match some of the dollars that we're putting in for TANF. I also want to thank you all for your support of people with disabilities. We've made record investments in the last couple of years for all sorts of services, direct care workers, direct services to them, and of course, paving a pathway to employment for each and every one of them as well. I always want to thank my chair, my leader in labor for all the hard work to ensure that New Yorkers are paid for what they're worth. And certainly the COLA and raising the wages for individuals across the state is something that we need to continue to do. So thank you all for attending today, and we look forward to the continued negotiations to make sure that we strengthen all families in New York State.
Thank you. Again, we are going to continue to ensure that we have a positive budget for all of New Yorkers. And while we're working, I just want you to know all of the agencies that we'll be working for at this table. So it's the Department of Civil Service, Office of Employee Relations, Division of Human Rights, Workers' Compensation Board, Office of the Welfare Inspector General, Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, Department of Labor, Office of Children and Family Services, Division of Veteran Services, and Public Employees Relations Boards. So that is our table, and we will do our best to ensure we have just positive outcomes. We know that New Yorkers are relying on us, and we are here just to deliver. So again, thank you all for being here, and we are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.